Hi, this is ACCA F5 question session. I'm going to be looking at the costing question that was on the December 2011 paper. The costing question was question 4, and it was called FitCo. It was a life cycle costing question. You'll find this paper on accaglobal.com, and you may wish to check it out and review the information in the question, or indeed try the question prior to continuing with this video. For now, we will look at the question. So it's a question about a company that specializes in manufacturing of a high-tech product for the fitness market, currently considering the development of a new product for the fitness market, which would first be the first of its kind. It would take 1 year to develop, then sales commencing at the beginning of the second year. The product would have an expected life of 2 years from that point before it is replaced with a technologically superior product. The following cost estimates have been provided. So lots of cost information there over the 3 years of the cost cycle. Okay, so just looking at the requirements. The requirements are to calculate a life cycle cost per unit. That's the first bit. The second bit is to calculate a revised life cycle cost per unit, taking into account the effect of the learning curve. And that's a little bit more tricky. And the third bit, part C, is to discuss the benefits of life cycle costing. So parts A and part C are certainly very doable. Part B is a little bit trickier. So this video will continue with part A and C, and then we'll come back and look at part B in a second video. Right, so first requirement is to calculate the total cost per unit, the life cycle cost per unit. So looking at that, what is the life cycle cost per unit? Well, life cycle cost per unit would be defined as total life cycle costs over total units produced and sold. So total units produced. That gives us a life cycle cost per unit. Okay, so can we fill in the details for that? Well, total life cycle costs, we'll need to look at all the costs involved with the product. That includes the costs of research and development, so from cradle to grave, as we say for life cycle costing, research development, product development, manufacturing costs, sales distribution costs, administration costs, the whole lot. So all the costs over its entire life divided by the number of units. So here, we know what the denominator is, because we can see from the question that 300,000 units excuse me, were sold and manufactured and sold over the life of the product. So the question is, what's that? So what should the dollar amount be? So we need to calculate the total life cycle costs. Total LC costs. Now we've got a whole shopping list of costs and information that's given to us in the question. And my suggestion to students is that we just take that as it is given to us, rather than reorganizing it in any particular manner at this point. So what we want to do is effectively add that up. So the first thing is the R&D costs, and that's coming out at 160,000. Next we have product design, and that's 800,000. Then we have marketing costs. Now over the 3 years, it's 1.2 million plus 1 million plus 1750, higher marketing in the last year. So that's 3950000. And then we have our manufacturing costs. Manufacturing costs. Now we have variable and fixed. Now we could classify and collect these costs and subtotal them, all the variable, all the fixed, but that's not actually required. So looking at the variable, we're told we've got $40 per unit for year 2, and we've got 100,000 units plus 42 for year 2 times 200,000 units. So that's obviously that particular sum, and working that out, we've got 12,400,000. So that's 12.4 million for that. The fixed costs, 650,000 plus 1290k. Okay, be careful with your thousands. Make sure that I'm just showing them there in Ks. Okay, that's that. Next one, distribution costs. Again, variable and fixed. And my variable costs I just need to extend out. 4 times 100,000 plus 4.5 times 200,000. Multiplying that one out, we get 1.3 million, and the fixed costs are 120k plus 120k. Well, that's 240k. No problem with that. Next up, we've got our selling costs. So we've got variable costs. What have we got for that? Well, it's 3 times 100,000 plus 3.2 times 200,000 extended, and we get 940,000. The fixed costs here are 180k plus 180k. That's 360k. And lastly, we have our admin costs, and again we have 200 plus 900k plus 1500k. Okay, and that's 2600000. Okay, right, so that all adds up to 24,690,000. Okay, so give that a little asterisk there, and that's the figure we were looking for. So we put that in there. That's the 24,690,000, and so that works out at 82.30 per unit. So that's our question there, and I want to box that off to make sure that the examiner knows that that's part A. Okay, very good. That's that. Now, part B of the question asks us to revise the total cost, the 24,690, when we have come across some further information about the impact of the learning curve. However, part C asks us to discuss the benefits of life cycle costing, and so we could do that at this stage and pick up those 4 marks. Looking at the benefits of life cycle costing, what we can look at there is the main benefit is that we trace all the costs and revenues are traced throughout the product life cycle, not just for the financial periods or years in which the product is being sold, which would be the typical way in which an accounting system would treat costs and revenues. Lifecycle costing provides improved understanding of product profitability over its life cycle. Better information for decision making is possible. Decision making in relation to product launch, such as in this case, product pricing decisions. What price should we set at different stages in the product life cycle? Promotion decisions in terms of driving demand at different stages, and ultimate replacement and the timing of that decision. Price strategy to manipulate demand for the product life cycle stages is also something that is facilitated by product life cycle costing. And then lastly, product life cycle costing is applicable in modern, highly competitive environments where we have increasingly shorter product life cycles. So products don't have the extent the life cycle that they once might have had. The commercial implication of this is that it's very important that we are going to be able to recover the initial research development and product design and setup costs from the commercial life of the product. So product lifecycle costing does provide much improved information for managers in this type of scenario. Okay, so that's that for parts A and C of this question. I'll come back and look at the more tricky part B, the effect of the learning curve, in a second video, which you will find also on YouTube. Thank you.